What is going on, everyone? This is Connor, the co-host with the most, welcoming you back to the Clutch Crew Sports YouTube channel. And today we're going to be doing a NHL weekly update. If you've seen the last two videos, you've seen that I've done my prediction videos for the Stanley Cup playoffs in rounds 1 and round 2. But what I'm also going to start doing, I mentioned this in the last video, just doing like a weekly update, look at how these series are going, what direction they're headed, what I think the eventual outcome is going to be based on what's happened already, and, maybe a little bit of thoughts for the next round too. But basically, we're just going to take a look at the series, how they're going right now, and give my thoughts on them. So we're going to start here with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. I have each team's most recent game pulled up here on the screen, and so this is going to be Tampa and Florida game 2. The Lightning up 2-0 now. I have the Lightning winning this series in 7 games as my original prediction, but the Tampa Bay Lightning definitely, the fact that they've won both games on the road so far really helps them out a lot in this series. Sorry, my throat's a little upset, but so Tampa's up 2-0 already, won both games on the road. They're going to be heading back to Tampa today. I'm recording this on Sunday the 22nd, so the game 3 between them starts at 1:30. Now, this is definitely an interesting situation that the Lightning and the Panthers have, something that you don't normally see in the playoffs. They actually didn't play yesterday, which is kind of interesting. Usually teams, they play every other day, but they had 3 days off this time around, or 2 days off this time around, and they're going to be playing today, and they're going to play tomorrow, so they're going to have a back-to-back going, which I'm not sure the reasoning behind that. If someone knows the reasoning behind that, please feel free to tell me, but Tampa and Florida are going to have a back-to-back, something you don't normally see in the playoffs, but definitely 2 very good wins for the Lightning. Obviously, Game 1 was on the back of their power play. They had 3 power play goals. The second game was a very close game all throughout, but the main problem with the second game was, of course, Florida's defense coming through looking like idiots again. At the very end of the game, they let a goal in with 4 seconds left because the puck got dumped in, and 2 Florida defenders went to go get it, leaving Ross Colton wide open in front of the net for the game-winning goal. It's just Florida's defense. I mentioned it so far in both the other videos and all of my predictions that I think Florida's defense is going to be the downfall of them. And sure enough, Florida's defense was exactly the downfall for them in Game 2. Not much Bobrovsky could do when Colton had complete open net in front of him. When 2 guys decided that they were going to go after Andre Palat. So, not good for the Florida Panthers. Now, my original prediction was I thought that the Lightning would take this in 7 games. I actually think the Lightning are going to take this in 5 games now. I definitely think Florida will be able to take 1 game on the road here, but I don't know. It just seems that the way that everything's going, it seems that Tampa is just playing way too good for Florida, and that I think this series, I guess I'll say 6 games because, I think Florida will be able to take at least 1 game at home in Game 5, but I think this series is actually only going to go 6 games, and Tampa will take it in 6. Losing both home games at the start is definitely not good for the Florida Panthers, and I think we're definitely starting to see, in my mind, how overrated, in my mind, that the Florida Panthers are. Just because you win the President's Trophy doesn't mean that you're the best team in the league. It means that you're the best team at the time, and that, I think Florida got really fortunate with some of their scheduling this year. They got to play a lot of weak teams, especially towards the end of the season when some of these other teams were playing playoff teams. They were playing easy teams. So definitely not a good look for the Florida Panthers. I don't know what just happened there. But I say the Lightning take this in 6. Moving on to the Oilers and the Flames. This has been a very high-scoring series. The first game was 9-6 for the Flames. Game 2 was 5-3 for the Flames. So, if you're going by total goal counts, the Flames are outscoring the Oilers 12-11 over the course of 2 games. That's insane. It's just the same problems that are plaguing Florida, honestly, in this series. Like, bad defense, bad goaltending, especially from Edmonton. Mike Smith got better as the game went on in Game 1. He got better in Game 2 after letting in those 3 goals in the first couple of periods. But he was really bad in Game 1. He had to get pulled. And then Edmonton's backup just wasn't good either. So definitely a lot of defensive problems, a lot of high scoring going on. Figured this is the way the series was going to go. You got a high powered offense in Edmonton and Calgary. They may not be as high powered, but they definitely can score at will if they want to, especially if you're going against the likes of Mike Smith. I mean, he's really not that good of a goaltender. I know a lot of Oilers fans have been wanting them to get rid of him for a while and find a different answer, but he's their guy for right now, so Edmonton's having to roll with it. But definitely an exciting series if you're someone who likes offense. Definitely any of these games could go either way. But as for how I see the series going, I still think the Flames are going to take this in 6 games. In a series with no defense and no goaltending, you have to go with the side that has the better defense and the better goaltending, and that's the Calgary Flames. Jacob Markstrom's a Vezina candidate, although he hasn't really been showing it so far, giving up 11 goals over the course of 2 games. So definitely not a good look for Markstrom, although the Vezina Trophy is only a regular season award, so obviously this isn't going to factor into him winning it or not, although he probably wasn't going to win it anyway because of Igor Shesterkin, but definitely not a good look for Markstrom, but the Flames are the better defensive and goaltending team, which is why, in my mind, they'll come out on top on this series, but definitely need to win at least one of those games on the road, because if they lose both games on the road, then I think the Oilers are going to take this series. In a series that's as high offense and as high powered as this, going down 3-1 is, it's probably better than the other series I'm about to talk about here. But it's still not good in going down 3-1. The Rangers were able to come back against the Pittsburgh Penguins, but I don't see a team coming back from 3-1 in this series. So the Flames definitely need to win at least one of the 2 games on the road. They have a game at 8 today, I think, or something like that. It's not going to tell me what time it is, but yeah, they have the 3rd game today, because Florida and Tampa are playing at 1:30, Carolina and the Rangers at 3:30, and then these 2 teams have a game at like 8 or 8:30. So definitely going to be looking to see how the Flames respond after that Game 2 loss. The first game they've lost. No, that's not the first game they lost at home. What am I talking about? But they should definitely going to see how they respond, because the Oilers, they're definitely going to have to get over these slow starts, because they were down 3-1 at one point and were able to come back from it. And then in Game 1, when they were down 6-2, I was amazed that the Oilers were even able to come back and make it 6-6. But then the Flames were able to go past and win 9-6. So it feels so weird saying that for a hockey game, but definitely going to be a high-scoring, high-intensity, exciting series here. On the opposite end of things, we have the Hurricanes and the Rangers. There's been 23 combined goals already in the Edmonton and Calgary series. There's been 5 in this series. The Hurricanes outscoring the Rangers 4-1 over the course of 2 games. A very defensive series. I mean, these 2 teams are in the tops of the league when it comes to defense and goaltending, and both games have showed so far very low scores. The Hurricanes narrowly escaped in Game 1. They got a goal from Sebastian Aho with about 2.5 minutes left to send it to overtime, and then Ian Cole with the overtime winner. And then Game 2, another very low-scoring affair. The only real goal coming on a shorthanded attempt by Brendan Smith, and then Sebastian Aho had the empty netter with about 2 seconds left in the game to make it 2-0, make it look a little bit better. But both goaltenders have been really good. Antti Ranta and Igor Shesterkin have both been really good in net. From what I could tell, both of the goals that they let in were really not their fault. The first goal that Ranta let in Game 1 was a 3-on-1, so not much he could do there. The shorthanded goal, honestly, in my mind, for Shesterkin, I think he wasn't expecting Aho to pass it to Brendan Smith. I think he was expecting Aho to take the shot. Brendan Smith, not exactly known for scoring at all, but he got the goal nonetheless. And then, so this is definitely going to be a defensive-minded series. I was mentioning that you don't want to get down 3-1 in the Calgary and Edmonton series. You really don't want to get down in this series. Like, in a defensive-minded series, getting down by a few games is really not wanted. I mean, and in my mind, I do think the Hurricanes, I said this in the prediction video, I think the Hurricanes are impossible to beat on home ice. They haven't lost a game on home ice yet. It definitely, obviously, could still happen. There's still a long way to go in the playoffs, but the Hurricanes have proved very resilient and very unbeatable on home ice, unlike any other team on this list, or any other team that's still left in the playoffs. So the Rangers definitely don't want to get down in games, especially if the Hurricanes are able to win one of the 2 games at Madison Square Garden. You really don't want to have to come back to PNC Arena for Game 5 and, that be the game-deciding game. So definitely an interesting series here so far. We'll see if the Rangers or if either team can really find their offense. My mind is I don't think it's going to happen. Like the Hurricanes and Bruins had a lot of blowout games in their series. I'm expecting a lot of 1-goal games here in this series. But my official prediction for this one, I said originally that the Hurricanes would get it done in 6. I think the Hurricanes are going to get it done in 5, is my new prediction for this. I think they'll take at least one of the games at MSG, and they'll come back to PNC Arena for Game 5 and take it. If it doesn't end up being 5 games, then I think it'll be 7 games for the Hurricanes. Like, I don't see the Hurricanes closing it out at MSG in Game 6. But who knows? We'll see. The Hurricanes, they got to learn how to win on the road. Although they haven't lost at home yet, they haven't won on the road yet either. So that's the other tricky part about this. So we'll see how it goes today. And of course, on Tuesday is Game 4. So we'll see if the Hurricanes can pull out one of those 2 games and get back to PNC Arena with home ice for Game 5. The final series, the only series so far that has gone 3 games so far, is the Avalanche and the Blues. The Blues looked really good in the first couple of games. They took the Avalanche to overtime in Game 1, and then they dominated thanks to their power play in Game 2, 4-1. Unfortunately for the Blues, Jordan Binnington did go out with an injury in Game 3, partially maybe contributing to why this game was 5-2 for Colorado, but I know at least one of those goals at the end was an empty net goal, so definitely nothing to really be ashamed about there. It's like one of those goals almost doesn't count when it comes to the goaltending, but definitely the Blues need him to be healthy. I don't know an update on his status or anything, when he's going to be coming back, if he's going to play in Game 4, if he's going to sit out for a couple of games. I know Husso, their other goalie, was good for them in the first round. So I know the Blues would rather have Binnington. He's been playing really good recently, but I think Husso should be able to do just fine for them. I said he did good for them in round 1, so I think they should be okay. Definitely the key for St. Louis here is they're going to have to win this game at home. Like, they can't afford to drop Game 4, especially against this Avalanche team. It's, in my opinion, the best team in the playoffs right now. They're too high-powered. They're too good. You can't let them get to a series lead and expect to come back from it. So, Nathan McKinnon's been playing well. Cale Makar has been playing well as well. Darcy Kuemper has actually been pretty decent in goal aside from Game 2. The Avalanche were going to have questions at goaltender after last year when Philip Grubauer went to Seattle, but Darcy Kuemper's been playing well, and I originally said that the Avalanche would take this in 6, and I still think the Avalanche are going to take this in 6. I think that St. Louis is going to win Game 4, but then I think Colorado is going to take Games 5 and 6 and close out the series and move on to the Western Conference Finals. So that is going to be the NHL Weekly Recap. Hopefully this was a little bit informative for people who haven't really been following the series at all. You now know what's happening. Colorado up 2-1 in this series. The only series that's gone 4 games so far. So hopefully you got some good information out of it. And hopefully I will be back next week, depending on what happens. It could be my round 3 predictions. It could be another weekly update. We'll see how it goes. If the series are over, then it's going to be a prediction episode. But, if one or more of these series ends up going 7 games, then it's going to be another weekly update, and I will release my predictions as soon as the series are over. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow on Twitter at clutchcrewsports. Make sure to leave any comments down below and hit that subscribe button. And hit the like button, really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And leave any comments down below. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.